Hey folks, welcome back to another review with yours truly, Sam Healey. Today we're taking a look at this little hot ticket right here, the Rise of the Empire expansion for Star Wars Rebellion. One of the best games, I think, well, for me personally, one of the best games last year by far. This is a new expansion for it. Gives a lot of stuff, as you can see, from Rogue One, but it also has a couple of things from the other parts of the Star Wars universe as well. So let's get down to the table. I'll show you what you're going to get into it and give you my thoughts and processes after that. You might even be able to hear from somebody else. Let's get to it. So this is what you'll be getting in a expansion of Rise of the Empire 4 Star Wars Rebellion. You're going to be getting, of course, this little rule sheet that will tell you how everything can be implemented. It is not that long at all, pretty short as a matter of fact. And you're also going to be getting 44 new mission cards. 24 of them will be Imperial and 20 of them will be Rebel. You'll get 12 more objective cards for the Rebels, and you'll also be getting 32 new advanced tactic cards, which are these things right here, which replace the tactic cards in the base game. So we'll talk about that in a little bit later. You're also going to be getting 16 new action cards for both sides, and then you're also going to be getting 8 new leaders with stands, 4 Rebels and 4 Imperials. And for the most part, except for Admiral Mauty here and Jabba the Hutt, these are all characters that come from Rogue One. So you have Krennic, some of the Krennic's finest stormtroopers. You also have Jen Erso, Cassian Andor, Saul Guerrera, and then Chirrut Imwe from the movie, my favorite character from the movie. You're also going to be getting a couple of new rings that will go for some of the people. You have K2SO, and then you also have Jabba the Hutt. You also have these target icons or tokens, which will be used by some of the different cards that come in the set. We'll get to those in just a few moments as well. You also have these 3 dice that are used for a number of different things. First of all, the new units that come use green dice. Now the green dice have 4 blank faces and 2 direct hit faces. So that's how those guys work out. Then you also have, of course, all of the new units that come in the game. You have Nebulon B frigates, U-Wings, Rebel Vanguards, which are rocket launchers for the Rebels, and then you also have the Golan Arms turrets that were of such great effect during the Battle of Hoth. You also have the new Interdictor class Star Destroyer for the Imperials, shield bunkers for the Imperials, assault tanks, and TIE strikers from the Imperials. So you have a whole lot of new stuff to play with. Let's go ahead and get into how each one changes the game just a bit. Now, first off, we're going to go ahead and tackle the action cards. Now, the action cards of note, first of all, there is one that is replaced with a new set. By the way, all of the new sets have this little icon in the bottom of them that denotes it from the rest. So for example, this is the old Intel card from the base set. This is the new one with the icon there on the side. So basically, good Intel replaces this one. Earlier it just said the Rebel player must keep his hand of tactic cards face up. This one, however, the Rebel player must keep his tactic cards face up. If using advanced tactic cards, you do not choose a tactic card until after the Rebel player's card has been revealed each round. So this is replaced. You also have these different things here. So the token here is a bounty token, as denoted right here, that if Jabba the Hutt is in play, you can use after any leader fails a mission in this leader system. Attach the bounty ring to a Rebel leader that does not have a ring in his system. When that leader is captured, Rebels lose 1 reputation. So there is that. You also have Sweep the Area, which is where the Krennic's Finest come in. Secret Facility, where you can recruit either one of those guys. Early promotion from Admiral Moti. Ambitions of power, again, Moti and Jabba the Hutt. Track them. Use after a rebel unit retreats from combat. Choose an Imperial leader in the combat system and return it to your leader pool. Lord Vader's orders. Look at the top 3 cards of the objective deck, then place them on top of the deck in any order. So these are just new, kind of cool action cards. On the Rebel side of things, you also have one replacement for Son of Skywalker. Again, there's that icon that is missing on the original. So here, after you succeeded, the original one said, after you succeeded a mission in this leader system, search your mission deck for Seek Yoda or Daring Rescue card and place it in your hand, then shuffle your mission deck. Replacing that is you search your mission deck for Seek Yoda, Daring Rescue, or Critical Rescue card and place it in your hand, then shuffle your mission deck. So it's just allowing for some of these other mission cards that are new to the set. You also have something to fight for, which allows you to recruit Jyn Erso, false orders. He means well, so you can recruit Cassian Andor and or K2SO. Under the radar, Saul Guerrera or Cassian Andor, Saul Guerrera only. And this is interesting because it's an immediate, and it says either draw 1 starting action card or recruit Saul Guerrera. If you recruit Saul Guerrera, you lose 1 reputation and place him in your leader pool. So he can come help you out, but people don't like that. Baze's loyalty, you can destroy 2 health worth of units in this system, and it also allows you to recruit Chirrut. Here, you can recruit Jyn or Chirrut, place this leader in any subjugated system, gain 1 loyalty, and destroy 1 ground unit, triangle ground unit in the system. So again, these action cards are pretty cool. There are also a couple of replacements for the new mission cards that are in the deck. Again, you have in the new set, the icon at the bottom. In the old set, the new version of Construct Superstar Destroyer makes it slightly quicker for you to get that Superstar Destroyer out on the board. You also have single reactor ignitions where you can destroy all the Rebel ground units without actually destroying the system. Interdictor development. Interdictors are really nasty. We'll get to them a little bit more in detail, but they actually can keep the Rebels from being able to leave a system. Exploit weakness. If successful, the Rebel player must reveal 1 random objective card in his hand and place it on top of his deck. So you have to show it and get rid of it. Again, just to the top of the deck, but that can be really crucial. Make it an example. You can eliminate a leader. Imperial Might, resolve in a system that does not contain Rebel units and contains a Death Star under construction, or a shield bunker. Choose 4 units on space 1 of the Imperial build queue and deploy them into this system. So you can get people out a little bit faster. This is all just really neat stuff. Artwork is really good as well. Secure the plans. This is one of the cards that uses one of the target tokens, and you can tell that it is based upon the artwork that matches. So what you would do here is you would place this card's target marker in a system. While this marker is in the system, the Rebel player cannot play Death Star Plan's objective card. Subversion is a really cool card that is new to the set. You can have this down. Notice that it doesn't have any requirements up at the top. You can have this down with leaders on top of it, and when the Rebel player plays a mission or reveals it, you can place your leaders assigned to the subversion in the targeted system, and you roll an additional die for the opposition. And the leaders that are placed on top of this can also be in addition to the leaders that might be joining from your leadership pool. So Subversion is a really neat card to help you kind of fight against some of those missions that your opponent's going to be going after. Now, before we move on to the miniatures, I want to go ahead and take a look at these guys right here. These are the advanced tactic cards. As you can see, they are larger than the original tactic cards that came in the base game, and they actually replace that original set of tactic cards. As you can see here, there are Rebel and Imperial tactic cards, which means that each player will have their own cards to deal with. It's no longer a communal deck of space and then ground combat tactic cards. So what these things are cool for is that all of these will be available to you every single round of combat. There isn't that you have a draw deck and you have, like, 4 of them available to you. You can choose any one of these to use during the course of the combat. Now, at the beginning of combat, 1 card is played by both players. You can actually choose to not do anything, but you must play a card, which means that it's going to go in your discard pile and no longer be available to you until you've played the rest of them, generally speaking. Now, as you look at the card, basically what this is saying is that you can do this or this. If you want to do this, you must have that type of unit in the fight. So if you have TIE fighters in the space battle, and there are more Imperial fighters than Rebel fighters, you deal 2 damage. Or you can choose to do the bottom here, which is usually a lesser effect, but it allows you to do something just in case you don't have something, one of these units in the battle. Now, if you have this unit, you don't have to choose the top. You can always do the bottom whether you have this or not. But I don't know why you would not choose to do 2 damage instead of just dealing 1 black damage. But that's that. So Entrapment uses the Interdictor class. You can cancel a Rebel Tactic card, and you can also then play an additional Space Tactic card. Now, the thing about canceling Tactic cards is that if the Defender also plays a cancel card, theirs will resolve before the attackers. So that's a little bit of a thing that you must remember as you're going through. So the Rebels, well, not the Rebels, not necessarily the Rebels, but the Defenders' cancel card always happens first, but normally the attacker's card always fires off first. So again, these tactic cards you use when all of these different things are in effect, and so you can use the top when the unit is there, or you can always use the bottom. The Super Laser Blast, this is really cool. If the Death Star is there, then you can deal 5 damage to a capital ship. Notice that some of your air units can also affect the ground battles at this point. So as you can see, if you have a Star Destroyer or a Super Star Destroyer, and if there's not a shield generator in the system, you deal 2 black damage. So it's an orbital bombardment. The air superiority for the TIE Strikers, cancel the Rebel Tactic card, and so forth and so on. So really neat things that you can do with these 2 decks. Now on the Rebel side, it's pretty much the same kind of stuff, just with the different units, and some of the effects are a little bit different to fit the theming of the Rebels. But for the most part, it's much of the same, and they really do change how the game is played. Now, because there isn't a communal set of tactic cards, rolling the Cross Sabers special icon on the black or red dice no longer allows you to draw a tactic card. There are some effects, abilities in the game that say draw a tactic card. If that's the case, the ability allows you to draw from your discard pile and put it back into your active pile, or your available pile, so to speak. But those Cross Saber special icons on the red and black dice no longer allow you to draw tactic cards. What they allow you to do is heal units in the battle. So it's important to note here that if one of your units gets damaged during the battle, and you're the defender, you can actually roll dice and possibly be able to heal them before they're destroyed. So that's a pretty cool twist to the combat system here, and a good change as far as I'm concerned. On top of that, battling, since we're still talking about these tactic cards here, remember when this used to mean you could draw 2 tactic cards for space battles before they begin, and you could draw 1 tactic card for ground battles? That's not the case anymore, because both sides plays exactly 1 card, generally speaking, before the battle. These are actually rerolls. You can reroll up to 2 dice. If Cassian Andor is in a system where a space battle is occurring, you can reroll 2 dice and 1 die in a ground battle. So that's another cool addition, or change rather, to battling and combat in Rise of the Empire, is that these are no longer cards to be drawn. They are re-rolls that you can use during the course of the battle. I thought that was a really cool change that they made in the cinematic combat rules that they have put out there. Now, the objective deck for the Rebels, you have new cards that you can put in there. And generally speaking, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be using, I believe it's the Death Star Plans card in each of the different levels, but then you're also going to be adding these to the base set and choosing randomly a number of cards to make up that objective deck. Or you can just do what I did and just use all of the new ones and then fill in the gaps where you need to. The Imperial player places one of this card's target markers in any 2 remote systems. Each time one of these markers is removed, you gain a reputation. So that's a cool thing as well. So there's just a lot of cool things. They bring in these different target markers that'll get you reputation points. So at the start of each refresh phase, if this marker is still in that system, instead of playing an objective card, you can discard an objective card from your hand to gain 1 reputation. So if you have a bunch of these cards in your hand that are just really difficult, you can just start discarding them and gaining 1 reputation for them. So I thought it was a really neat thing. I was able to play this one in my last game and get 1 reputation point out, but Jason just ripped up that system right after it. So that's the way it goes. Now, the final thing we want to go over before we get to final thoughts are something that is called the minor skills. As you can see here on Jen Urso, she has all of her regular skill icons. She has 1 large intel icon and 1 large combat icon, and then she has a bunch of 4 other of these smaller icons. She's got 2 small intels, 1 small combat, and 1 small diplomacy skill. What those are called minor skills. So whenever Jen is going to be attempting, for example, an intel check, she's going to be rolling 1 blue or black die plus 2 of these green dice. That's what the minor skill icons allow you to do. So again, these have 2 faces on them, which are direct hits, which are very good to be rolling in the case of all of these different kinds of checks you're going to be making. So here you see that Chirrut Îmwe has 1 large diplomacy, but he also has 2 small minor ones. So he's going to be rolling 1 and 2 greens as that. For example, and then also if he has these 2 over here and he's doing a combat check or a strength check, whatever it might be, then he's going to be rolling 2 blue or black dice and not these 2. So the icons still have to match the test that you're making in order to roll those green dice, but these minor skills are actually a really cool addition. So that is everything that you're going to be getting in the Rise of the Empire expansion for Star Wars Rebellion. I have to say right off the bat that I already enjoy this game immensely. So I think it would have been safe to say that I was going to enjoy the expansion as well. But the expansion even did a better job than I would have expected it to do. It put a lot of different things into play that changed and fixed, for me at least, a lot of the problems that I had with the game to begin with. I thought that the combat was a little wonky and it was a little just strange how everything kind of came about, but the new combat, the cinematic combat rules in this one really smooths everything out, makes it a lot more streamlined, but it still has that tension that's there. So I really like that a lot. Having the new advanced tactic cards where each person has their own deck of cards for both space and ground battles, really enjoy that change. Really thought that brought even more thematic immersion to the game rather than just both people drawing from the same communal deck of cards. I really enjoyed that one as well. The minor skills was also a really cool addition. The use of those green direct hit dice in the tests and attempts and that type of thing during the different missions phase. I really enjoyed that a lot. I thought it was great. The models were all pretty well done, and I say that kind of with a little bit of lackluster. They are really well done. just more of what you should expect from a company like Fantasy Flight when Star Wars is involved. The target tokens, where you put these different target markers out on the board, and as long as they're in effect, they have an effect on the game, and they allow you to gain more reputation points as the rebel leaders. I thought that was really interesting. But hey, you know, that's just what I think. Let's see what somebody else thinks, shall we?
Well, there you go. Star Wars Rebellion, Rise of the Empire. As you saw, Sam really liked it. I love it. I think the addition of the Taxes cards, the addition of the re-rolls of the dice, all these things really add to the base game, and it's an expansion that is very, very worthwhile to get. It's one that I am excited to get once it comes out in stores, which is supposed to be really soon, and it's one that I'm adding to my collection for sure. I give it an awesomeness rating of 10. It is that good in an expansion, and I think that it balances. The one thing that I felt in the original game was the Rebellion was a little bit stronger, but I think with this expansion it makes the Empire about equal, maybe even a teensy bit stronger, but it makes the powers more equal when you play a full game of this. And I love it. I love what it does. I love what it adds, and I highly, highly recommend it.
So as you can see, Jason agrees with me. But hey, that's just that. It's not just me. Jason and I played this together, and we really had a great time with the game. We were, you know, there would be times where we were standing up going, "Oh man, you did this," and "Oh man." There was just so many cool moments in the game, and a lot of it is because the Rise of the Empire is just a great expansion for the game. So if you own Rebellion, you really should get Rise of the Empire. It is a go-to expansion. It is a must-have expansion as far as I'm concerned for the game. I don't think I will ever play Star Wars Rebellion without it. That's how good I think it is. So that is my final thoughts and Jason's final thoughts on Star Wars Rebellion, Rise of the Empire. Go check it out. As always, if you can, try before you buy. But for this one, I'm going to say take our word on it. Go ahead and get this. If you already like Rebellion, this is a must get. See you on the flip side, folks.